Hello and welcome to the Gfinity Arena in London for the V10 R-League and the final match of the group stages. And we have saved the best until last with the top of the table clash between Mercedes-AMG and Team Redline. We've already seen Yas Heat secure their place in the grand final, but which of these two teams is going to join them in Abu Dhabi?
Everybody feel it come around with round. Everybody feel it come around with round. Everybody feel it come around with round. Everybody round. Oh yeah! Everybody in the pump. Everybody in the pump.
Yeah, boy. Game on indeed. Yes, Marina is going to be making a stunning backdrop for our grand finals, and both of these teams will be hoping to be there. One of them will definitely be making it. The Group B winners. Is it going to be Mercedes or Team Redline? We will find out as the evening continues. My guests tonight are Steph Wentworth and Hayden Gullis. Hayden, we have been treated to three brilliant matchups already, but now we come down to the spicy one, the spiciest of all of them today, because one of these two teams will be crowned champion, so it's all on the line.
Yeah, I think this is the spiciest matchup in all of the group stages across what we have seen so far. So it is no wonder that this is the last one of the group stages. I'm very excited for it. I don't know who I can pick between these two, who's going to win, so I'm very excited to watch and see.
Yeah, the jeopardy, Steph, is one of these teams will be crowned champion. The other one will have the uncertainty of the wild card tomorrow to see if they will be going to Abu Dhabi. So there really is a lot on the line for both teams.
Yeah, which is why it's going to be such a heated battle between them both. That automatic qualification spot is exactly what both teams will be aiming for. It's the best deal out of them all. You don't have to come back tomorrow and face another team and do this whole thing again. So both teams going to be gunning for that.
Yeah, difference in fortunes. Mercedes coming off a loss. When you look back to last week, they lost to Aston Martin, Hayden, and no one saw that coming, but it just goes to show that anyone can beat anyone on their day. But that is not how you want to prepare for a showdown, is it, from Mercedes?
No, not at all. You want to go into this matchup in your best possible form. I think Redline have been on it so far this season. So Mercedes are going to have to up their game and go for it up against Team Redline today. It's going to be a good matchup, and I do think Mercedes can take the challenge. I think they're going to quite quickly put that loss up against Aston Martin behind them and really go at it today.
Yeah, but it is not going to be easy. However, they've got some brilliant drivers, all with F1 esports experience. Cedric Tomé, Jarno Otmé, your two-time world champion, plus Bonahus. However, their opponents today, Team Redline, have been pretty incredible so far, and they're coming off the back of a 4-0 win in Week 3 against Team Fordzilla, and we're seeing the action there. We're seeing some crashes as well. Hopefully there isn't too much of that today. But Steph, they have got some talented drivers. Oh,
absolutely. And I think that's what's making them such a strong team as well. They've got great team working abilities within them as well. So yeah, fantastic team. That's why they're at the top of the group at the minute. And Mercedes is definitely going to have a challenge to fight against these lot.
Yeah, just saw there the last driver, Kevin Siggy. We'll talk about him and give out more plaudits to his professionalism and his talent that we've seen this season. But there it is, Team Redline at the top of the table with 10 points, Aston Martin in second, Mercedes in third. So it is confirmed they are going to be your wildcard people tomorrow. Is it Mercedes, Aston Martin? Who is it going to be? Are Mercedes going to topple Team Redline to get automatic qualification? Here are the results from today. If you just joined us this evening, well, thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to have you alongside us for this unique sim racing competition where the grand final is going to be in Abu Dhabi. But you can see Aston Martin getting a win today, R8G as well, plus Yas Heat with a very convincing 4-0 clean sweep. They finished atop of Group A. But what does this mean for the wild card tomorrow? I like the word wild card. It sounds fun. There it is. This is as it stands at the moment, but that could all change because currently Mercedes are in wild card number 1. They will be taking on R8G Esports, and wild card 2 will be Aston Martin versus Williams Esports. But that could change. Mercedes could be swapping places with the team already in the semi-final. Team Redline, because they're currently the top. So is this the pressure race for both sets of drivers? This is where the pressure really shows whether they can handle it, I guess, Hayden.
Definitely. I think the pressure maybe more lies on Mercedes because they are the team going for it. But also, I think it also lies on Redline because they are the ones that are currently in control. They have a bit of a points lead, a 2 points lead over Mercedes, so they have a little bit of leeway, but of course they need to make sure they stay on it and they don't lose that automatic spot in the semi-finals.
Yeah, they just need to make sure they get that couple of wins under their belt and then it's a job done. But, Steph, I mean, when you look at this, do you think much of the driver lineup changes? We've seen a few teams today have different changes. Mercedes have stayed consistent. Jarno, Bonahus, Cedric Tomé, is that an advantage to them or maybe a disadvantage that they haven't mixed it up a little bit?
Oh, I absolutely think it's an advantage. You've got the 3 drivers that work for you. They've been working throughout the whole season. These drivers have been working together as well. I mean, think about the relay race that we've got. These drivers know exactly how they're going to work together. They'll have fine-tuned their strategy. Maybe they know already who's going to be taking those joker laps. I think it's a really, really smart decision for this team to have kind of stuck with their 3 drivers and pushed forward.
OK, I mentioned earlier the unique format of the V10 R League, £100,000 prize pool on the line. Also, picks and bans. We've got 5 traffics? Well, there could be traffic. There could be an absolute train today. These are your picks and bans out of the 5 tracks, and we are heading to Silverstone and Spa-Francorchamps. This is the first time I'm seeing it. It's a shame that we don't get to see Yas Marina. However, neither team has raced at Mugello, and I would say that they were both going to avoid it, but that could have been the one where you force your opponent to be on a track that they're not practiced as much. But then at the same time, neither of them have gone there. So wise decision, would you say, Hayden?
Yeah, we saw earlier with the matchup between R8G and Williams how easy it was to make mistakes. Just putting one small wheel wrong and you're going to end up rounding in the gravel. So it's wiser to be cautious. Yes, OK, you could catch out the other team, but you could also catch out yourselves.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're looking at this, a team Redline undefeated, Steph. Mercedes have got that 1 loss under their belt, and that came very recently. Is that going to be playing on their mind at all, do you reckon?
I don't think so. I think these drivers are very, very capable of, having something occur and putting it straight out of their minds, moving forward immediately. As you mentioned, Mercedes has a lot of F1 esports experience, and that is probably the most high-pressure cooker environment that you could think of in the esports world. So I think they're very apt at dealing with that pressure, very apt from moving on from disappointment. I think they'll be absolutely fine tonight.
Oh, words of wisdom. If I was one of the drivers, I'd feel very sort of secure in my knowledge that Steph's given me the confidence.
You are welcome.
Hayden, Steph, don't go anywhere. And you guys, we'll have a quick break. When we come back, we will get the racing underway. Thank you very much for coming back to join us here at the Gfinity Arena for the V10R League. I'm Tom Deacon. Steph Wentworth is in the middle of me and Hayden Gullis, which is a good place.
I'm a little sandwich.
Yeah, ready for this epic race that's about to begin. I'm excited because Mercedes is taking on Team Redline. I didn't mention him before. Kevin Siggy, out of the team races. By the way, I know that we're going to the team relay first, but he has had 5 wins out of 6. And the other place he finished, 2nd. He is a guy to look out for, but that talent there is definitely going to shine in the team relay race, isn't it?
Yeah, he's very strong and has a beautiful moustache as well. So maybe that makes him go a little bit quicker, more aerodynamic. But no, he's definitely the leader of that Redline team. But we say it so much with other teams that they have one guy who is the quickest and the others just kind of like back him up or try and get that 4th position. With Team Redline, they are all very quick. So they usually are finishing 1st, 2nd and 3rd. So look out for that in this fight. And Mercedes are going to have to try and break that, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm looking at that lineup, Steph, for Team Redline. Enzo Benito is backing Kevin Siggy up in their last race against Team Fordzella. He had a 2nd place and 3rd place finish in the team race. Michael Schmidl, we said goodbye to Michael Schmidl. He hasn't raced since their 3-1 win over Red Bull at the beginning of this competition. But Jeffrey Reitveld comes in, a 3-4 finish. It's interesting, earlier on in the day, you were talking about there's those that are doing the overtake in the team race, and there are those that are the defenders. I definitely see Jeffrey as being that part. He's got an integral part to play. Each team member has a role to play.
Oh, 100%. And like you said, it's going to be Kevin Siggy that kind of takes on that main role. He's probably going to be out in front, potentially battling with Bono Hoos, who is the alleged team leader for the Mercedes team at the minute. So yeah, as you're absolutely right, it could be Reitveld that's there defending for the rest of the team.
Yeah, but for the team relay, he is going to have to up the pace. Just go for it. I'll explain a bit more about that in just a second. However, I would like to see Hayden Gullis show us what he's made of as he does a hot lap around Silverstone.
Welcome to Silverstone and welcome to a hot lap of this incredible circuit. Heading down into turn 1, almost flat here. A better driver than me will probably be taking that flat out as we go through turn 2 now. And then into turn 3, hard on the brakes, an overtaking opportunity come race day, and then into the loop where you've just got to be so precise. You can easily lose a lot of time here because you start this long straight where there is an overtaking opportunity, whether you're on the inside or on the outside, you can make a move. Heading down into Brooklands now, hard on the brakes, and just let the car flow through on the left. Take as much curb as you can possibly get away with into Luffield, which is a double apex corner. You want to sort of V-shape it and straighten up the car as much as possible on the exit as we now enter the old start to finish straight through Woodcote and then on towards Copse Corner, which of course has been controversial in recent Formula 1 seasons. Down in towards Copse then, allow the car to run out wide. You don't want to go too far on that AstroTurf though, because it will throw you off the circuit. Through Maggots and Beckett's, really attack these corners. Such a great set of corners to drive in any car, especially this V10R car. And you just hear the engine just roaring behind you right now as you head down in towards Stowe on the hanger straight, and then hard on the brakes once again and let the car just flow through Stowe once again. Don't get the car out too far wide as that AstroTurf just wants to eat you up and spit you back out. Onto the brakes, into Club and Vale. Very easy to lock up through there, through Vale now, and then again slowly on the power because it's very easy to lose the back end, and across the line, and that is a lap of Silverstone.
Beautiful, slowly on the power there. I like that. Hayden, that was fantastic. I couldn't do a good as job that you've just done there. And obviously, this week, you competed in an F1 content creator tournament. You finished first, and then you finished second. You got through your heat. But what did you make of that lap? Good fun on the
Clearly,
V10?
that was good practice, because it was at Silverstone that I won that race. So clearly, there was good practice from the Hayden's guides, and it worked out for me with the race win. But yeah, it was good to drive that lap around there. That one wasn't a one-take wonder, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Steph, also Nick Hamilton, when he was on the desk, he said Hayden is very, interesting how he chooses which apex to really come out of on point. So, but look, I really enjoyed it. We know what the guys have got got to do. For the team relay, it's a little bit different than just all out, all the cars on the track, which we'll see in the team race. So there's a tactic involved in this, and there's the push to pass, which they can use, gives them the 80 brake horsepower advantage, but there's also knowing when to use the joker. What are the tactics? For those just joining us who've never seen it before, what are they looking out to watch here, Hayden?
I think there's a lot of tactics going on. We've seen it with the joker. Usually we see the quickest driver out of that team go for the joker, but we've seen it before where two people do it at the same time, and then the next one they kind of like to switch it up a little bit. So there's a little bit of tactics. I feel like you don't want to be on the lap at the same time, because if somebody's ahead of you, you can get that dirty air, or they can be a little bit off-putting in front of you. So you want to get that joker lap maybe done earlier or later. So it all depends on what the other team are doing if they're ahead of you, but there's a lot going on, of course.
Yeah, so 3 drivers all have to complete 1 lap. One of them does that extra joker lap. But we saw a lot of tactics today, Steph, where the opposition, you're watching to sit, and there's a kind of like bluffing. Are you going into the pit lane? And we've seen that. What do you prefer? Both the same teams taking the joker at the same time or not?
Oh, I love tactics, I love strategy. I like it when they switch it up, especially if you're the team following and you want to do something different. If you see the driver ahead that's heading out on a joker lap, go straight into the pits. Do something different. See if you can jump them, because we know that a lot of things can go wrong during the pit stops as we're heading for the first race around Silverstone. Hayden, take it away.
The lights are on, the engines are revving, and we are going racing here in Silverstone. It's Redline versus Mercedes, the matchup we've all been wanting since the start of this series, and it is Team Redline leading the way. Jarno Opmeer up against Enzo Benito, having a little look up the inside into turn 3. We'll have the outside line through the loop, but we'll get the purchase off the corner. He's trying to go for a switchback to get that traction out of the loop and down the Wellington straight. This is a great opportunity to overtake. Enzo Benito covering that inside line. Opmeer, though, darts back to the inside. Can he go up the inside into Brooklands? A little bit of contact between the two of them. Enzo Benito off the track, but Jarno Opmeer takes the lead for Team Mercedes.
Oh, that was a fantastic start from Opmeer, just judging exactly when to make that overtake stick, and he's done it. But it looks like Enzo Benito is going to be coming back towards him down the old pit straight, and it looks like he's getting ever so close going into the iconic corners of Maggott and Beckett. I don't think Enzo Benito is going to be giving up, as he looks like he's just getting even closer coming out of Chapel and going down onto the Hangar Straight, which is a fantastic overtaking opportunity. We'll just see him nipping into the slipstream of that Mercedes. Will he be able to dart around Stowe? Not close enough for this lap.
Jarno Opmeer made the overtake at the start of this lap. I'll tell you what he didn't make, though. His bed in the background looks a little bit messy. I'm sure I'll have to fix that for the next time. Into the pits, though, comes Jarno Opmeer. Enzo Benito following him as well. So the 70 seconds on the clock starts now. One of the slowest pit lane in the series, so it takes a long time. Kind of helps you a little bit, because you can get a little bit close to that 70 seconds. Don't have to feel like you're waiting in the pit stop, but they'll be parking up now, right now. Then Jarno Opmeer, as we're watching on board with, will jump out the car. Once he's out of the server, tell his teammate it's free. His teammate will jump into the car, but they still have to wait. They don't want to go too early, because if they do go early, they will get a penalty. So they need to time it to perfection and just basically leave the pits at 70.001 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, can they time it so quickly? Let's have a look at reaction times here. This is what it's a test of, really, as well. How quickly can you get out? We've seen earlier on in the matches today, we saw Williams had too short a pit stop and ended up with a 3-second penalty. That's not what you want. And as you can see, Team Redline already, not leaving the pits yet, just doing the preparation, reversing to make sure that they are going to have the straightest possible line to put the foot down on the throttle and get out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I thought they were going really early then, as they are actually going at the same time. And it looks like Team Redline have got the jump in the pit stop. That's the pit lane line right there. So Kevin Siggy now in the car. Not only have they jumped them, they have got a 1-second lead over the Mercedes team. So at the moment, it looks like there was a mistake for Mercedes in the pit stop phase. Or did Team Redline go too early and have a penalty coming their way? It's all up to Cedric Tomei now to try and catch up to Kevin Siggy, but he has been so strong so far this season. So Kevin Siggy currently leading the way at the moment. He's usually the driver who takes the joker lap. Will we see that again? But Cedric Tomei also, actually no, it's usually Bonahus who takes the Joker lap. So going to see a bit of a mix of strategies here.
Absolutely. It's entirely possible that Cedric Tomei could be jumping into the pits at the end of this lap. Kevin Siggy could be continuing, going straight out. He's got that momentum now. As you can see, the gap has come down to just underneath 1 second between the two of them. But very unfortunate, actually, because they were so close, the first two drivers coming into the pits. I wanted that battle to continue, but just a second between them. It's just edging further and further as we go around the lap as well, as we're coming towards the pit lane. And it looks like, oh, Kevin Siggy went for a little bit of the dummy there, but Cedric Tomei, as we thought, is coming in to the pits for a pit change while we ride on board with Kevin Siggy, who is about to take a lap of Silverstone. He's got no one in his rear mirrors behind him, and it's just going to be full speed ahead.
Yep, Kevin Siggy in the car at the moment, so strong for the team at Redline. And as always, he is doing the Joker lap, and he is doing it here for now in Silverstone. Will he do it again? We're going to Spa-Francorchamps, only time will tell. But now let's watch this incredible lap with one of the top drivers in this series. Of course, a champion with BMW last series. So let's watch it and see how he tackles this Silverstone circuit. We saw my amazing hot lap. Now you're going to see it 10 times better on board with Kevin Siggy through Woodcote now and onto the old start-finish straight. Getting the car over to the left-hand side of the track, using the curb on entry, clipping the apex and using all of the exit curb as well, carrying the maximum amount of speed through that corner. Now Magnussen Beckett through the left, then the right, then back over to the left again. Now really hug the apex of the right-hander. I missed the apex through there on my hot lap, but Kevin Siggy, he knows what he's doing.
Definitely. I'm sorry to tell you, but he is a lot better than you are as he heads into Stowe towards the end of this lap. He's going to be diving into the pits right now. And it looks like Bonahus is leaving the pits for Mercedes. He must have started his first lap because he's going to be completing the Joker. He's the one that's going to be doing a double the amount of laps. And there you can see him alone on the circuit, just heading out right now, trying to extend that gap. And it will only be as we get the final Redline driver, which I believe is going to be Jeffrey Reitveld. It will only be as he leaves the circuit that we can really gauge whereabouts these two drivers are. Have Mercedes managed to jump Redline? Will Redline maintain that lead ahead of them? Who knows? We are going to find out.
For now, we are watching an incredible driver put in a hot lap around the Silverstone circuit. We saw Kevin Siggy tackle these corners. Now watching Bonahus go through Maggots and Beckett's on the exit of Chapel and then down the hanger straight, heading in towards Stowe. Now a few corners after that separate him and finding out whether they have retaken the lead over Team Redline, out through Stowe into the Vale chicane. Hard on the brakes. Get the car over through the left and then the right. Avoid that sausage curb on the power, but don't get on it too early, otherwise you will lose the back end and spin, which of course these drivers don't do because they're a lot better than I am. But here we go, Reitveld coming out of the pit lane right now. Where is Bonahus going to be? He's taken back the lead away from the Team Redline. And Bonahus is going to be very happy with that. But now it's all up to Jeffrey Reitveld to try and go on the attack and see if he can retake it from Bono. Who is going to be quickest between these two drivers? But for now, as it stands, Mercedes are going to be taking that point. And they need to, because they are on the back foot coming into this matchup between the two teams. They need to make sure that they outscore Redline here today to get themselves into that automatic qualification spots for the finals. But look at Reitveld, so close. Look at this, so much speed heading into Cobbs, and there's contact between Reitveld and Bono. Bono holds it though round the outside. He's still in the lead, but Jeffrey Reitveld goes for the overtake in towards Maggots and Beckett's. Bono has to lose the position there, has to give it up. I'm sure they're going to be heading straight to the stewards after that one. Contact between the two drivers. We were waiting for this matchup all day, and it's definitely not come without controversy. Here goes Bono having a look around the outside through Stowe. Can he do anything there? No, a little bit too wide as he heads down into the Vale chicane. Now, Jeffrey Reitveld lost the position, but has some incredible pace on the opening part of his lap. He will cross the line and take victory for Redline in the team relay race. Mercedes got the early lead and then they lost it and then they got it back. But then there was that controversial collision between the two drivers. And it is for now Team Redline taking the point. Back to you, Tom Deacon.
Oh, I tell you what, spicy indeed. Take my word for it, today I went for the wrong spice on my chicken. I'm a man who thought I could handle the spice. I couldn't. I can handle this as a neutral though. This is fantastic. Team Redline versus Mercedes. I can confirm stewards are looking at the contact that was involved in that race. It is under investigation. So currently, as Team Redline cross the line, I will say that they are your winners there. They pick up the point, as you see Enzo Benito, Kevin Siggy, Jeffrey Reitveld coming to terms with everything that just happened there, talking through the tactics of the team relay. However, as I mentioned before, it's under investigation, so it's a provisional win for them. But we got off to an absolute flyer. Jarno Opmig getting the overtake on Enzo Benito. A little bit of contact as well that came up just in a second here, but we like that. Spicy is what we wanted. We've got that. We have got a proper battle on our hands, haven't we, Steph?
Oh yeah, I was not expecting such a spicy relay race. You know, normally all of the heat and the contact comes during the team race, but unfortunately we were or fortunately for us, we were treated a little bit earlier with the changes in strategy, the wheel-to-wheel battles. It was just an absolutely fantastic relay race.
Yeah, good fun to commentate.
Good fun to commentate, especially this moment right here. Very strange how Jeffrey really caught up so much time compared to Bono, but I've got to say, a fantastic save from Bono Hoos to keep that out of the barrier and keep it going side by side with Jeffrey.
Yeah, definitely looked like a big old shunt there. Definitely some contact being made. We were seeing Jeffrey there on the screen discussing what happened, the tactics with his teammates there, I am sure. But what a great way to start the racing there. We will be heading to the team race in Silverstone. If it's half as good as that we just watched, we are in for an absolute treat.
We really are. That was a very exciting team relay race. Usually we see team relay races, it's, you know, the cars aren't necessarily next to each other and it's all about hot laps and how fast that these drivers can be, but there was some actual racing. And I'm sure we're going to see even more of that when there are 6 cars sharing the same circuit.
And again, with the team relay race, which we will see when we head to Spa in 2 races' time. But Kevin Siggy, there's something happened in that pit because Bono has got the overtake on the guys there, and Jeffrey Wright had it all to do. But it was incredible to see how he managed to catch up with Bono. Do you reckon the push to pass was used? It must have been used at that point.
Absolutely. It was, I believe, 7/8 of a second. That was between Bono Hoos and Jeffrey Reitveld going in as Reitveld exited the pits, basically. And then, obviously, we saw him just, you know, using that slipstream, properly closing in. And I don't think he would have been able to do that without that push to pass, that extra 80 horsepower for however long he used it.
Now, I've got no authority whatsoever in the V10 R League, but I am going to say, let's take a break right now. I'm going to go and help the stewards to have a look at some of that contact. When we come back after the break, we'll be racing at Silverstone again. Hey, how you doing? This is the V10R League. Great to have you with us this evening. I'm Tom Deacon. I've got Steph Wentworth with me and Hayden Gullis taking you through all the action in Group B. £100,000 prize pool is up for grabs in the final at Abu Dhabi on the 22nd of July. But who's going there? Out of these two teams, one of them is going to get automatic qualification. We've just seen the team relay race at Silverstone. I can tell you the stewards have got a lot of work to do, so we cannot bring you that result right now, but we will push on heading to the team race, and hopefully by the end of that, we'll have an answer as to who got that point. However, I'm thinking there's going to be more incidents in this one. What says you, Hayden, for this?
Definitely. I mean, we've seen these two trip up over each other already. Silverstone is very fast, and there's a lot of chances for you to maybe go for an overtake, but not quite get it right or squeeze the door a little bit too much. I think that's what happened between the contact between Jarno and Enzo. So there's just Jarno was hugging that inside. Enzo just maybe took it a little bit too tightly, but that's what happens around Silverstone, and I think we're going to see more of it.
Yeah, what I love about the V10R League, and I'm sure lots of other people do as well, they can go 4 wide around the first turn.
Well, they can't.
Well, I know they can't, but it's
work.
entertaining to watch. In terms of the areas to attack or to go for at Silverstone, Steph, which stands out for you being those corners?
There's loads of corners. As you can tell, well, as you know, following the start-finish straight, following any straights really. So you've got the start-finish straight into turn 1, you've got the Wellington straight, you've got the Hangar straight going into Stowe, around Copse. We love a good move around Copse. So there's tons of places where these drivers could be coming together. We managed to have an incident with 2 drivers on the track, and now there's going to be 6.
Yeah, it's going to be chaotic. Do not hold your breath for very long. It won't be long until there is a collision moment. I'm looking at this lineup. I know that Bonahus has finished first twice out of the 6 possible times for Mercedes. Jarno's finished once, and as you can see there, it is beginning to show. Kevin Siggy, this is the guy. He's finished 5 times as your winner in the team races, and 1 time he finished second. He is the hot property in Abu Dhabi. So a 1-2. For Kevin Siggy and Enzo Benito, Bonahus and Otmir. So what are the tactics here? We're less than 30 seconds away from getting to that race. What are the tactics here? Hayden.
Well, for Redline, it's going to be for Enzo Benito to play that defender role and hold those guys off. For the 2 Mercedes, it's full attack, and we're going racing here. The lights are coming on. They're on the grid at Silverstone. The engines are revving, and we are racing here in Silverstone. It is Redline who lead the way from the front row. Kevin Siggy from pole position holds it as we've got a Mercedes on the inside through turn 2. It looks like they've got the overtake complete. Now heading into the 3rd corner, they go defensive. There's contact slightly, but Kevin Siggy holds it. But Jarno Otmir, for a moment there, takes the lead, but he will get the drive off the corner. Can he use the slipstream to get past Kevin Siggy and move into the lead of this race here in Silverstone? He's on the inside, in towards Brooklands. Will break late, but Kevin Siggy closes the door and now round into Luffield. Otmir now goes to the door. There's contact again between the 2 of them. Jarno Otmir drops to the back of the field. Enzo Benito now takes the lead of this race with Bonahus right on his tail. Jeffrey Wrightfield is battling with Cedric Tomei further down in the field. The battle for 3rd position. Cedric Tomei right on the back of the Redline driver. Can he do anything through Magnus and Beckers? He's just got to tuck up as close as he possibly can and then try and go for the overtake down the Hangar straight and see if he can do it in towards Stowe. But it looks like that gap has extended ever so slightly. And wow, Steph, break down that start for me because I need a breather.
I know you need a breather. Take one right now. As you can see, we've got Jarno Otmir and Kevin Siggy had a little bit of a lock-up there going into Brooklyn, so that just allowed Jarno Otmir to come through, trying to go back in the inside line, did Siggy, but unfortunately there was a little bit of contact with him and Otmir there, which just launched them both off into the gravel and has basically ruined the both of their races, which is quite unfortunate. But as you can see, up at the front there, we've got Enzo Benito Bonahus, who actually had a really fantastic start. He was the one that was up into 2nd. He had a little bit of contact, which unfortunately dropped him back, but then was able to capitalise with the whole Jarno Otmir, Kevin Siggy situation. And look now, we've got all of these drivers very, very close together. We've got Bono really, really pushing Enzo Benito ahead of him. but he's also being put under pressure a little bit by Jeffrey Reitveld, who is in turn being put under pressure by Cedric Tomei. And as you can see, that is the Mercedes of Jarno Opmeer being chased by Kevin Siggy. Very, very close by. Will Kevin Siggy be able to make a move on Jarno Opmeer for 5th position? It's not the positions we thought they'd be fighting for, but it is what it is.
Tom Deacon bigging up Kevin Siggy, saying that he'd only ever finished 2nd so far this series out of all the team races that they've done, and at the moment down in 6th position. So Siggy's not going to be happy with him after this race. Enzo Benito, Bonahus, Jeffrey Reitveld all separated by just over 1 second at the moment. Then Cedric Tomei is not too far off the back, but whether these guys switch positions or not, Mercedes are going to need Bonahus to get the overtake on Enzo Benito if they want any chance of taking home the points here today. Enzo Benito, though, setting the fastest lap of the race so far, extending that lead over Bonahus. Bonahus in 2nd place. He's got a bit of a lead, a nice, comfortable gap back to Jeffrey Reitveld, so there's no pressure at the moment for him. But he's going to want Cedric Tomei to try and go on the attack as well to give him a little bit of that safety buffer. Meanwhile, Jarno Opmeer, he's keeping the captain of the Redline team busy, down 7 seconds off the field of these two. So Kevin Siggy isn't going to be too much of a worry at this stage of the race unless anything crazy continues to happen between these two teams. But Enzo Benito doing exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah, and it's looking like it's going to be a strong one for Team Redline if Bonahus can't push forward any further. And it's looking like that gap is maintaining, it's extending a little bit. 0.6 of a second to Enzo Benito. As you can see, there's almost no time in it as you can see them going through Maggots and Beckett's. Cedric Tomei definitely closing in a little bit on Jeffrey Reitveld, as we can see them ever so close down the Hanger Straight and heading into Stowe. Unfortunately, Bonahus not close enough to make a move stick, and it's going to be another lap before he's able to close in potentially on Enzo Benito and try and get past the Team Redline driver. But no mistakes from him so far, carrying this race fairly easily, again setting fastest laps. It's very difficult for Bono to close in when you've got this incredible lap setting from Enzo Benito. You know, he's got this pressure behind him, but he's still managing to maintain and extend his own pace, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, Bonahus trailing Enzo Benito each lap by about 1/10 of a second, which is just going to continue to grow and grow. So Bonahus needs to get into that rhythm, just try and gain a little bit of time on Enzo Benito, and then, of course, it's one thing to catch up, it's another thing to overtake entirely. So there's a lot to do for Bonahus to try and take the win here in Silverstone. But we've got Cedric Tomei, as we're watching on board right now, try and see if he can close that gap on Jeffrey Reitveld. Reitveld falling quite a bit back now off Bonahus, over 1 second the gap. So Bono doesn't really have to worry too much about the driver behind him, of course, unless he makes a mistake, and then he's going to be right into the clutches of Jeffrey Reitveld. Further back down through the field, Jarno Opmeer is still keeping Kevin Siggy busy, but Siggy is about 0.3 of a second off the back now.
Yeah, it's really interesting, that battle. It's probably the closest one we've got on track right now, and here we are getting to watch it. Kevin Siggy getting ever so close down the Hanger Straight and heading into Stowe, but still Jarno Opmeer remains ahead, defending hard. 0.4 between the both of them. Kevin Siggy getting a little bit closer each lap, but it's fluctuating, that gap between the two of them. Coming around the final corner of Club and onto the main straight, they will join the other drivers on the penultimate lap of this race, so not much time to be getting moves done anymore. Kevin Siggy managing to eke down that gap even further, just 0.3 of a second now, and as we go into a fantastic part of the lap for overtaking, Kevin Siggy's right on the back of Jarno Opmeer there, and it looks like he's managing to keep the Team Redline driver behind him for now, but Kevin Siggy piling on the pressure. As we can see the provisional standings at the minute, Mercedes will take away 11 points, while Team Redline provisionally are going to win the race and take home 15. However, they will be taking home 1 point for the winning of this match, which is really the important part here, and it's what's going to keep them in that first position and keep them in that automatic qualifying position, which is the important part.
I don't think it's going to be as simple as that, though, because I'm sure the stewards, if they weren't busy enough, are going to be even more busy after that first lap encounter with all the collisions that were going on down there. We've got Bono, who's still trying to catch up to Enzo Benito. And to be fair to him, he has brought that gap down to half a second at the moment as we head on to the final lap of the race. Look at that fastest lap now for Bono, who's 2 tenths gained, and now he's 3 tenths behind, 2 tenths behind the Team Redline driver through turn 3 and then into the loop. He's going to have to try and maximise his exit off this corner. Looks like he maybe touched the inside curb a little bit too much. It put him off, and now that gap has extended back to half a second between the two of them. Enzo Benito kind of teasing us a little bit. Looked like maybe we're going to have a battle for the race lead, but Enzo Benito put his foot down and built that gap back up to 7 tenths of a second. Meanwhile, Cedric Tomei, a little bit further behind, has brought the gap down to Jeffrey Wrightfield to about 4 tenths of a second. Kevin Siggy still also trying to go on the attack of Jarno Opmeer, but we're busy watching this battle for first position, although the gap now 8 tenths of a second. Only half a lap left to go through Maggots and Beckett's for the final time today. Enzo Benito still leading the way at the moment. Cedric Tomei going on the attack of Jeffrey Wrightfield. The gap now 3 tenths of a second. Has he still got push to pass left to use? Heading down in towards Stowe. The gap 2 tenths of a second. Heading into Stowe. Cedric Tomei pulls out, tries to go around the outside. We're busy watching, and now we come back to Cedric Tomei. Now can't quite get the job done and won't go for it into the Vale chicane. Enzo Benito managed to find his way in the lead of the race, and he's held it there, and for now is taking the point for Team Redline. Bono, who's had a 1 lap last charge right at the end there, but couldn't quite make it stick. Jeffrey Wrightfield will finish in 3rd place with Cedric Tomei in P4. And then at the back, the 2 drivers who made contact on the opening lap, Jarno Opmeer and that man in the middle there, Kevin Siggy. But for now, as it stands, Team Redline make it provisionally 2-0. Back to you, Tom Deacon.
Thank you very much to Hayden and Steph. Brilliant driving there. Great team race around Silverstone. Was enjoying Maggots and Beckett's. Just to humble brag, I was recording a link on trackside around Maggots and Beckett's. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Enjoyed that race. But most importantly, I was not enjoying the fact I had the commentator's curse there for Kevin Siggy, as we all heard. I kept saying he's won 5 times and only finished 2nd in the other. However, that collision with Jarno Opmeer early doors really did, as we were just seeing a second, really set the race up. And it was very unfortunate. However, Team Redline went on to do what they do best, and that is get a wow. I'm watching it again for the 2nd time. That was brilliant from Kevin Siggy. It really went spinning there, Hayden. However, I'm hearing that the stewards are still looking into the team relay race, and Jeffrey Wrightfield may be given a penalty. So at the moment it would stand, it is 1-1. That is provisional. I cannot confirm that just yet, but that is it. We're seeing Enzo Benito cross the line first there. What did you make of Enzo's race? Very clean and tidy, and he got the job done.
Absolutely. Did exactly what he needed to do, carried the team forward. Unfortunately, Kevin Siggy was all the way down at the back, but he had Jeffrey Wrightfield there as well, backing him up, making sure that Team Redline took that point home. Yeah.
Hayden, would you like to analyse that race right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we can't. No time. We're going to have a break. When we come back, we will do all of the analysis of that, and we will be heading to Spa. Sorry to do that, Hayden. Here we are then. This is the V10R League. So glad you could join us because it is really heating up here. Both of these teams that we are watching battle it out really want to be going to Abu Dhabi in the qualification, just straight to Abu Dhabi. The loser of these two teams will be going into a wild card tomorrow. Now, I'm hearing all of the news that is going on in the stewards area. Let's have a look at that incident to begin with in the team relay. To begin with, this is Jeffrey Reitfeld, and there we saw that collision. Hayden, what did you make of that?
Well, Jeffrey, first of all, closed up so much speed compared to Bono Hoos, and then just instead of going around the outside or up the inside, Bono was doing the right thing of just holding the middle line. Unfortunately, Jeffrey, you know, if that scenario happens, you kind of either have to back off or try and wait for a later opportunity. He did not. He collected Bono Hoos, and there was contact between the two of them.
Adjudication pending there, but it says Team Redline are the winners on that. Oh, I'm just hearing protests have been launched. Lawyers have been involved, which you expect because it's, you know, it's a competition. You're pushing it. You're putting it all on the line. Then we went to the team race. Again, more incidents in there. Are you reckoning it's the incident between Jarno Opmeer and Kevin Siggy, perhaps? Or
I think so, and I think the Mercedes, I don't know, it kind of looked like they were targeting Kevin Siggy because Bono had a fantastic start, gets the job done on Enzo Benito, and then really aggressively sends it up the inside of Siggy, slight contact there. That allows Jarno Opmeer to get in the mix. He's around the outside. These two are fighting as they go through this corner. Then round here, Jarno closes the door on Kevin Siggy, which you're allowed to do, but that is also forces him onto the grass. He's got no grip out there, and that allows him to skid off the track and into Jarno Opmeer. So they were kind of like going for him, but it was their own downfall.
yeah, the groundsman would be furious with that. You see the dirt coming up in the air. I mean, I love a bit of cricket. I'd be furious with that. However, very entertaining. Brilliant to watch, and you see there Team Redline coming out 15 points versus 11 points. All results are provisional. Adjudication is still pending. So that would mean it would be 2-0 to Team Redline, which means they are going through to Abu Dhabi. They do not need to worry about the wild card tomorrow. However, we head to Spa then for the team relay. What are you looking forward to with this one, Steph? We've got about 10 seconds before the race.
I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what we saw at Silverstone because there's going to be nothing but chaos. Hayden, take it away.
We're in Spa, the lights are on, the engines are revving, and we are racing Mercedes versus Team Redline. And it's Jarno Opmeer who currently leads the way heading down in towards turn 1, but the Redline car of Enzo Benito will be tucking back up in that slipstream and trying to get the overtake in towards the Kemmel Straight. But no, they're going to try in towards Eau Rouge. They're side by side, wheel to wheel between the two of them. There's contact already. Jarno Opmeer, the luckiest driver with that spin to get him facing the right way already. Enzo Benito has fallen down a massive gap, 4 seconds between the two of them. 2 into 1. Was it going to work? Looks like it didn't.
It didn't. I mean, it kind of paid off for Jarno Opmeer. We saw him smiling. There you go. You can see him smiling in the bottom. Or maybe that's grimacing. I'm not quite sure. But he's entirely focused on this lap now. I'm sure that will be another incident that is being taken a look at by the stewards. So they are going to have their hands full tonight as we're going to see a replay. So they're going side to side into a Rouge. And there you go. You can kind of see the Team Redline driver of Enzo Benito jut out a little bit to the left, which just pushes him into the path of Jarno Opmeer. So it is going to be a very highly contested incident, I'd say.
Yeah, it looked like the rear end just kind of stepped out on Enzo Benito. Maybe he took a little bit too much of curb on the inside after Eau Rouge, and that just kind of unsettled the car. So Jarno Opmeer kind of was the victim in that collision. That's what it looked like from that replay. And it looks like he came out the better of it, in all fairness, because he's got a 4-second lead. He was facing the right way, and Enzo Benito and the rest of the Team Redline have a lot to do. But there are pit stops involved in this. We've seen before teams can get it wrong in the pit stop phase. Jarno Opmeer into the box. Enzo Benito does follow him because traditionally, with the Team Redline, it is Kevin Siggy who does the Joker lap, and with Mercedes, it's usually Bono Hoos. But of course, the 70 seconds is on the clock right now, and neither team will want to get any penalties for exceeding that.
No, and about 4.4 seconds was the difference between those two drivers as they entered the pit lane. So it'll be very, very interesting to see if that 4.4 second difference holds between them going out onto the second lap. Who is it going to be jumping into the car? Potentially Cedric Tomei versus Reitfeld? We're about to see Kevin Siggy. It's going to be Kevin Siggy, and he's probably going to take the Joker lap because that is what we have traditionally seen, as you've mentioned. But yeah, very, very long lap is this one. You can see Kevin Siggy preparing himself just to leave the pits. So we're going to be watching these two drivers kind of go quite close. We've also got Cedric Tomei doing the whole reversing shenanigans, which you've explained is the way to go, really.
Yeah, it gives yourself a chance to have a run up and get up to speed a little bit earlier than the pit lane because it is the line is right there. There goes Cedric Tomei out of the box. When will Kevin Siggy go? He's off now. What is the gap going to be between these two drivers? Still 4.7, so the gap hasn't really changed too much. 4.5 at the moment between the two of them, but Kevin Siggy, of course, the Capitano, the leader of that Redline team. How much time can he gain? It looks like 4 seconds at the moment. Yes, okay, it looks like a big gap, but it's so easy to make a mistake. These drivers are on the limit. Push that a little bit too far, even by like a couple of centimeters over the white line. They're in the grass, they lose grip, and a spin will occur. So it's very easy to make a mistake when you are at that level, but these drivers, they don't make mistakes, do they?
Do they? I mean, did we just see a mistake which cost the Team Redline that win, that lead? Potentially, but it looks like Kevin Siggy is doing a perfect lap so far. A little bit squirrely there, but very, very good from him. Pushing flat out, trying to close up that gap. 4.5 seconds, can't even see the car in front. Is so the difference between them is so great, which is kind of disappointing, but it is all to play for. We have no idea what's going to happen in this final pit stop round. Kevin Siggy just getting up to speed. It's likely that he's going to be the one to take that Joker lap. Now that he's kind of got that momentum going, he'll try and keep that for a second lap, even though this time between the two teams, 4.7 seconds now, as we can see that Cedric Tomei juts into the pits as we've got Kevin Siggy coming around the bus stop chicane and heading onto the main straight. He will complete the Joker lap as we expected, and Bono Hoos will soon be heading into that Mercedes to complete 2 final laps. So it's going to be Capitan versus Capitan for the final race, lap 4 of this relay. It's going to be... No, it's not. That is incorrect. Kevin Siggy is already on a Joker lap. He can't do another one. So it will be Jeffrey Reitveld who goes against Bono Hoos.
Maybe he'll just forget to pit. You know,
Who
that
knows?
happens. Sometimes we forget things. You know, we're all growing old. It's quite easy to let it slip your mind. But Kevin Siggy at the moment at the wheel, taking it through the Lecombe section and then downhill in towards Rivage. The gap before Cedric Tomei pitted about 4.8 seconds. So it looked like Cedric Tomei did have the better of Kevin Siggy on the first part of that lap, but Kevin Siggy could be in that rhythm now and just absolutely going for it. Bono Hoos, though, in the car, he's going to be waiting until he's allowed to exit the pit lane. Doesn't want to get a penalty. Yes, they have a 4-second lead, but with a penalty that can easily be taken away from you. So they just need to make sure they are really calm, really composed, and just get everything right in terms of that stuff. And then when it comes to being out on track, just drive as quickly as you can. I mean, it sounds simple. It's not that simple, but it sounds simple. I
mean, it's not that simple for me or you, but for these drivers, it is very simple. Sorry, Hayden is looking at me very upset.
So mean.
Do you know what? You might get a call up next time. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. But for Kevin Siggy, he's going to know how to drive around Spa in his sleep as he heads into the final chicane and juts into the pits. Now, what's going to be really, really interesting and what I find super fascinating is that Bono Hoos is out on his lap now. When Jeffrey Reitveld exits the pits, or how far behind or how close together are they going to be? That's when we're really going to see the time difference between these drivers for the final lap. Is it going to be that 4 seconds that we saw? Hopefully it will have come down. Potentially, maybe Mercedes had an issue on their pit stop with Bono. But we are yet to see as we ride on board with him as he continues on a lap around Spa-Francorchamps.
Yeah, we're watching Bono Hoos with a hot lap at the moment. The action will all kick off at the end of this lap. We'll see whether Mercedes have maintained their lead over Team Redline. Reitfeld now into the car. As they are still in the pit lane as we're watching Bonahus go through the Blanchimont section hard on the brakes as he gets down in towards the bus stop chicane through the right and then back over through the left again onto the power. And I'm sure that Team Redline car will be ready to go and exit the pit lane. But will Bonahus maintain his lead through the first corner? Can we see a Redline car? There it is, exiting the pit lane. But it's too little, too late. 4.3 seconds is the gap. They brought it down a little bit, but as Bonahus is up to speed and he doesn't have to worry about that tighter line as the pit lane exit, it extends back to 4.5. And as it stands, it looks like Mercedes have got this one in the bag.
Absolutely. And do you know what phrase I used earlier on today that I liked? Architects of their own destruction, and I feel like that is what Team Redline have done today. It looked like they were responsible for the early incident with Jarno Opmeer, and I feel like that is what has cost them the win or even the fighting chance, because a 4-second gap is a really, really large gap to be able to come from. I know we've talked about Spa being such a long circuit, 7.004 kilometers long. There's so many places to have errors, and as we can see, that gap is being brought down a little bit. But unfortunately, 4 seconds is, you know, a world of time for these top esports drivers, and unless we see serious mistakes, that gap is just not going to be closed over 1 or 2 laps, which is really unfortunate. But Bonahus performing absolutely incredibly well, doing everything he needs to do and leading Mercedes to a potential victory.
Yeah, we've seen this so many times with Bonahus. He's one of those drivers that will win the race in the slowest time possible as he just maintains that gap and doesn't do anything to jeopardise this race win. Through the final corner, Bonahus will take victory for Mercedes. Team Redline, they went wheel to wheel on the opening lap, but a mistake from Enzo Benito resulted in a shunt between himself and Jarno Opmeer, but Mercedes benefited from that, and they are the ones who will take home the point. Back to you, Tom Deacon.
All right then, you are watching the V10 R League. You can currently see your provisional winners, Mercedes on the screen, Jarno Opmeer, Cedric Tomé and Bonahus. And it's their hoose right now because they were very dominant there. And as Steph said, they were the architects of their own downfall. Very poetic, beautiful stuff. You are welcome. It's poetry. I like that. Bit of passion in this show. We like to see it. These are the best sim racers in the world competing for the £100,000 prize pool. That is going to be happening at the final in Abu Dhabi on the 22nd of July. Blimey, that's like 2 weeks away. Crikey, better pack my bags, get my passport sorted. I'm going, but who out of these two teams will be going? We know that one of these teams will get the automatic qualification and the other team will be going into the wild card tomorrow. As it stands, Mercedes will be that team tomorrow in the wild cards unless something drastic happens, and obviously these are provisional results because the stewards have got a lot of work to do, but it means that Mercedes cement their place as finishing definitely, as it stands, second in Group B. Very exciting stuff. Good race, that one. It had a bit of everything, but be interesting to see whether Enzo, what happened to the car there in that collision with Jarno Opmeer, but he's a lucky guy, just spinning beautifully there.
Perfect 360, just showing off for the fans there, you know, getting it round and then getting it pointed in the right direction. Yeah, I'd love to see an on board from Enzo Benito just to see whether it was his mistake getting onto the curb and lost the back end. It did look like a little bit of a twitch, but maybe there was a little bit of contact just before that unsettled his car. So unfortunately, we're not in the best position to see that, but I'm sure the stewards are.
Yeah, it's so good to see two very, very strong teams, elite teams that we know. The rosters are both stacked, the drivers are brilliant, tactics are on point. These are the guys putting on the limit in this competition. And this just confirms that relay result there of Williams getting the win. However, interesting enough, Steph, when you look at this, it just shows how close it is, just the fine margins, and you know, you lose the point. And that's how quality, that's the quality that we are seeing right here.
Yeah, I mean, it could have very easily swung the other way, as we can see that the relay race has actually gone to Mercedes-AMG Petronas Esports, which means that I do believe Redline will have received a penalty because it was Jeffrey Reitfeld that crossed the line first, was it not?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we saw a graphic earlier on. This is don't take anything for gospel. There is no gospel here at the moment, because earlier on, just before we went to that team relay race at Spa, we did see that Team Redline got the point. But as it stands, I'm going to go with that graphic. That's the latest. Mercedes 2-1 lead as we head into the final race of the day. We're going to have a break. When we come back, you'll have all the action. This is the V10R League. There was a slight pause because I was building up suspense. This is the last race in the group stages before we head to the wild card tomorrow, and then we'll have the final in Abu Dhabi on the 22nd of July. Epic stuff has happened so far in the 3 races we have had. We've got 1 team race left to come, and this is your starting grid. And if Mercedes want to get that extra scalp against Team Redline, they're going to have it all to do. Bonahis in P3, but Benito and Kevin Siggy hold that 1-2. I'm not going to do a commentator's curse on this at all. I said that before. Kevin Siggy, out of 6 races before, has finished in first 5 times. But will it happen again? Hayden Gullis.
Let's find out. The lights are on, the engines are revving, and we are going racing for the final time today in Spa-Francorchamps. It's Team Redline who had the front row, but we've got a Mercedes car on the inside into the first corner. Will we survive without any contact? Looks like it so far. Mercedes, though, mounting a charge as we've got Bono, who's going side by side with Enzo Benito, who's got the better of him, heading down through Eau Rouge and then back up the hill in towards Radion. Bono, who's going to be tucking back, though, in that slipstream, trying to go for an overtake down the Kemmel straight in towards Les Combes. Can he put it off? No, instead, it's behind them. We've got Jarno Opmeer and Jeffrey Wrightfield fighting. Jarno Opmeer, I think, darting back across the circuit. He's lost the position again to Jeffrey Wrightfield. And as it stands for the moment, Kevin Sigley maintains the lead. Enzo Benito in second place. Bono Huuslo is going to have to climb a big mountain to try and take victory here today.
Yeah, and we just saw Jeffrey Wrightfield making a move on Jarno Opmeer, and it looks like Opmeer's just jutting out a little bit, seeing if he can come back. 0.3 of a second between those two drivers, so that's going to be a keen battle to keep an eye on. But there's Cedric Tomé as well, who is putting pressure on Jarno Opmeer. Are they going to have to do a switcheroo? Are the Mercedes drivers going to go head-to-head, or are they going to play a nice team game and try and get past the red lines ahead? Because at the end of the day, that's where the priority lies. They don't need to waste time fighting each other, but it looks like Kevin Sigley is the strong driver out there leading the way. Bono, who's getting ever so close to the red line of Enzo Benito, coming into the bus stop chicane towards the end of the lap, and it looks like he's going to have the momentum to try and make an overtake stick, either going to a source or coming out and heading onto that big slipstreaming part of the track, going into Eau Rouge, Radion, and onto the Kemmel Straight. As you can see, very, very close by. The Mercedes driver is closing in a little bit, but not too close, trying to just remain on the back of him, getting a little bit squirrely on the curbs there, and it looks like he's going to jut out a little bit, heading down to Les Combes on the straight, and looks like he's going to get that move done, but they're still going wheel to wheel into Les Combes, but Bono Huus has got it done for now. Who knows if Enzo Benito is going to come back at him a little bit later on in the lap.
Great overtake there from Bono, who's just tucked up in that slipstream right up behind Enzo Benito, and there was nothing Enzo could do to defend against the pure straight line speed that Mercedes has. But he has done a fantastic job to build that gap for his teammate. 1.4 seconds at the moment between the two of them. But Bono Huus is going to be on the charge now, and the gap is falling only by a little bit. It's just dropped to 10th between the two of them, but there is still 4 laps left to go, and it's a long circuit around here. So if you want a track where you've got a big gap to catch up, this is going to be the one. It's 1.2 seconds now between the two of them. But if Bono Huus does overtake Kevin Sigley, he needs his teammates Jarno Opmeer and Cedric Tomé to overtake Jeffrey Wrightfield. Jeffrey now right on the back of his teammate of Enzo Benito, so I'm not too sure if maybe Enzo has had some sort of problem, because he was looking really calm and collected, and then Bono Huus really caught him up so quickly, and now his teammate is right behind him.
Absolutely, as we're riding on board with the Mercedes of Jarno Opmeer there. Look how close he's getting to Jeffrey Wrightfield, and how close his teammate Enzo Benito is ahead of him. It's going to be all to play for heading up this the Kemmel Straight and getting that slipstream in. It looks like the Team Redline drivers might end up doing a little swap, because they seem to be a little bit closer. And as we're riding on board with Jarno Opmeer, we have a prime view of what Jeffrey Wrightfield is doing, as he's just jutting out to the right-hand side and going up the inside into Les Combes. What a fantastic move, easily done. But that's a scrap between teammates. Again, not what we need. A scrapping against the other team is the main priority, but I suppose with the Team Redline, it's not an issue. They are the ones that currently hold the provisional win if it were to finish as it stands.
Yeah, Enzo Benito's still looking like he's got some sort of problem. It looked like maybe team orders, because Wrightfield got the overtake and Enzo Benito really backed off as they went in towards Les Combes. Jarno Opmeer got so close to the back of them that I actually thought that he was going to collect him there, but luckily no contact between the two of them. But it seems like a strange strategy, because obviously Enzo Benito, he's clearly off the pace for some reason. I'm not too sure why, but surely Wrightfield would go defensive, try and keep those Mercedes drivers off of Enzo Benito, because all they need is 4th place if Bono can overtake Kevin Sigley. But that is relying on Bono to overtake Kevin Siggy, and that gap has extended to 1.7.
Yeah, just bringing that up, he brought it down, Bono, to about 1.2 seconds, and it really looked like Bono Hoos was going to be catching Kevin Siggy. We were going to get a real fight for the victory, but unfortunately, as you can see there, 0.5 of a second difference between Kevin Siggy and Bono Hoos on that final lap, that lap that they just completed, which has caused the gap to go up by 0.5 of a second. It's up to around 1.9 to 2 seconds between Siggy and Hoos now. So it does look like the chances of Bono Hoos catching Kevin Siggy and overtaking him are decreasing as this race goes on. But who knows, we cannot rule out the potential that Kevin Siggy, although a very, very talented and capable driver, on his top form, we cannot rule out the fact that he could potentially make an error that Bono Hoos could potentially capitalise on.
I'll tell you what though, Jeffrey Wrightfield catching up at the moment to Bono Hoos. Bono Hoos on that last lap, about half a second off of Kevin Siggy, but also half a second off of Jeffrey Wrightfield as well. So Wrightfield showing that really he does actually have some good pace here today as well. So maybe he can mount a charge and try and retake that second position for the Redline team. Kevin Siggy doing exactly what he needs to do. We spoke about it earlier that before going into today, he had won every single race bar one. We forget about the mishap that happened in Silverstone, but he's back on top. He's recovered really well, and he is currently leading this race at the moment with a 2-second lead over Bono Hoos. And he's staying really calm, really composed. Jeffrey Wrightfield hasn't been able to gain too much on Bono over this lap. Jarno Opmeer, though, will be looking to see whether he can overtake Enzo Benito going into these last few laps, because a mistake, which we don't expect to happen, but if a mistake does happen for Kevin Siggy, Bono is right there to take the lead, but he needs his teammate to be in P4. So Jarno Opmeer does need to make an overtake, and then it's all down to Bono Hoos. But with 2 laps left to go, that gap just keeps on growing up top.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kevin Siggy is the only man on track that is getting into those 142s. Everyone else in the 143s. I think Bono Hoos was in the high 142s. But then again, 4.10s, 5.10s between the two of them. Kevin Siggy is lapping extremely quick at the minute, and it just is leaving Bono Hoos no room to catch up when Kevin Siggy, who's Kevin Siggy? I have no idea. When Kevin Siggy keeps pumping out these fastest laps, as we ride on board with Jarno Opmeer again. As you can see, the gap between him and Enzo Benito again shrinking a little bit, keeps fluctuating, but you can see just how close that Team Redline car is ahead of him. Will Bono, that's not even Bono. Oh, all of these drivers melding into one for me now. Will Jarno be able to catch him? It's looking ever more less likely.
More likely, less likely.
More likely, less likely. We're going with less likely on the penultimate lap of this race.
Sitting on the fence, just in case it goes either way, then you can say,
I could be right.
I was right.
There you go.
But Jarno Opmeer just looks like he's got the pace in the opening part of the lap. He's really able to gain up to the back of Enzo Benito. But then as we go through the lap, maybe he's using all of that extra energy in the push to pass in the opening part of the lap to maybe try and see if he can overtake him in towards the Le Con section. And then, of course, because he's got no battery left, that is where Enzo Benito is able to build that gap once again. Jeffrey Wrightfield still keeping that gap 1 second between himself and Bono Hoos. So we head on to the final lap of the day. Kevin Siggy still leading this race at the moment. Bono Hoos is now dropping down quite a bit. The gap is growing, and also Jeffrey Wrightfield is closing in on Bono Hoos at the moment. The gap coming down to half a second, so a big mistake maybe through the La Source section for Bono Hoos, as we're now watching Jarno Opmeer try and mount a charge on Enzo Benito, as we want to try and look ahead, as Jeffrey Wrightfield can't quite get close enough to go for the overtake on Bono. As we're watching these two now, look how close Jeffrey Wrightfield, maybe there's a problem of some sort for Bono Hoos. Jeffrey Wrightfield right around the outside of Rivage, no way through around there into No Name Corner. This is not an overtaking opportunity either, but if he can get a good run out of there, heading down in towards Pouhon, maybe, just maybe, he can overtake Jeffrey through this left-hander. Or is maybe Bono playing the tactic, trying to slow down these two drivers to get the Mercedes cars ahead of them into P3 and P4 to maybe take this matchup to a draw? Because if a penalty were to go Team Redline's way in the team race, then it would end up in a 3-0 victory for Mercedes, which would be kind of what they would like to see, what they would need to get that automatic spot in Abu Dhabi. Bono, who's doing his job. Jano Otmir going for the overtake. He's up in the third. Now he needs to go on the defensive and hold up these two. Where is Cedric Tomei? Can he find his way through? Jano Otmir slowing them down through the bus stop chicane. Is it enough? No, it is not. And it is going to be Kevin Siggy who takes victory for the Redline team. Bonahus in second, Jano Otmir third. Wasn't enough to slow down the Team Redline drivers and take it to a draw. So Redline will take the point thanks to Jeffrey Reitveld in fourth position. Back to you, Tom Deacon.
Thank you very much. Hayden Gullis giving me the full name. Missed out my middle name, but hey, we've got a wild card to do that. And we've also got a semi-final in Abu Dhabi. What I love about the V10R League, as I'm sure you do as well, the tactics being used by Bono Hoos just to give his team that chance. But you are looking at 3 drivers who have been brilliant today for Team Redline. Enzo Benito, Kevin Siggy, and Jeffrey Reitveld. Smiles on all of them, apart from Enzo's face. Oh, no, there isn't. It's a smirk. I'll take that, Enzo. Here's the thing. We are waiting on the adjudication, but we can confirm that we have just witnessed some brilliant racing. We said at the start of the day we would have 4 matchups, and this one we look forward to. Why? Because they're very equal in terms of talent and ability, and we were treated to guys being absolutely on the limit. That's why we love the V10R League. These are the best sim racers from around the world. And we witnessed Kevin Siggy finally showing me not up this time, because I did the commentator's curse. I said he would get another win, and he has. 8 races in the teams. He's had 6 wins, 1 second place, and 1 sixth. Right, here we go then. Mercedes, this is the provisional results. It's a 2-apiece affair. And as you can see, Silverstone and Spa, Francorchamps that we went to and watched the Team Redline win both team races. Hayden, Steph, brilliant day. Wins for Aston Martin, Yassi and R8G. That means that Mercedes finish in second place of Group B, and they will be taking on third place team, which is Williams, tomorrow in the wildcard. And then we'll have R8G taking on Aston Martin. What, Hayden Gullis, have you made of today?
I think we've had some great racing today. I mean, I'm very excited for the wildcard matches tomorrow. I don't think there's anyone that you can pick or choose between the 4 of them. I don't think there's anyone that they would have preferred to come up against either, because it's 4 very strong teams. But it's been some great racing today, and we get to do it all again tomorrow.
Oh, beautiful stuff. Same outfits, wear exactly the same, or should we change it up a little bit?
I'd say change it up.
Yeah, switch it up.
Okay, yeah, sure. Pants as well. Yeah, good. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Steph, is there any drivers that have stood out for you today? Kevin Siggy's been brilliant, or is there someone else that stood out for you?
Look, I think all of the drivers have been very good. Bono Hoos, again, assuming that role as the Mercedes team leader. Fantastic job from him. Do you know what? I think it's a team game. They all played it really well throughout all of the races. So, yeah, can't really give it to any one singular driver, I don't think.
OK, all right. So that is bringing us to the end of Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday. That's the wild card. What are the fixtures looking like? And I love a bracket. I love the playoffs. I feel like I'm at the Euros. The Women's Euros is going on at the moment. I love a bracket. R8G Esports will be taking on Aston Martin tomorrow. And then Mercedes versus Williams. Here's the interesting thing. Team Redline already go to the semi-final. Get your tickets booked to go to Abu Dhabi, guys. And that is the same for Yassi as well. Here's a little fact for you, Hayden, right? You ready for this? Mercedes will not take on Team Redline again unless they both make it to the final. Out of those 2 fixtures, which one has caught your eye?
It's very tough to choose. Like I say, there are 4 very strong teams. I think I'll go for the Aston Martin R8G, as I think that one's just going to be a little bit closer between the 2.
Yeah, what about yourself, Steph?
I'll go the opposite way. Let's go Williams and Mercedes. I think that's going to be a really good match.
Oh, well, it's been my absolute pleasure to have your company today. Also, to yours as well. So thank you very much for joining us today. That is all we have time for you this evening. But you don't have long to wait for your next fill of V10 action, as we 3 are back tomorrow, like the 3 Musketeers. The afternoon with our first race in the wildcard matches. That sees R8G at home against Aston Martin. Then at 7:30 p.m, Mercedes take on Williams. Which of those teams will be joining Yassi and Team Redline in Abu Dhabi on July the 22nd? Well, you have to come back and join us tomorrow to find out.
And we are going racing here in Silverstone. Look at this, so much speed heading into Cobbs, and there's contact. Jeffrey Reitfeld will take victory. We're now round into Luffield. Omni now goes to Don, there's contact again. Enzo Benito is taking the point. A side-by-side, wheel to wheel between the two of them. There's contact already.